line opened on the 15th of September 1830, and at the opening ceremony, the local MP, William Huskinson, misjudged the speed of an approaching train and was run over and killed, thus making him the first railway fatality in the world. Just ahead of us on your left is the Adelphi Hotel, which was built in 1826. It became one of the most famous hotels in the world. During the heady days of transatlantic travel, the rich and famous stayed here prior to boarding the great liners, which would transport them in the latter decade to America. No expense was spared, and the hotel's interior had to be at the height of fashion. The interior of the building is beautiful, with a wealth of stained glass which casts vibrant colours across its floors and walls. As a matter of fact, it has more coloured glass than any other cathedral in Europe. The tower has 52 feet high pinnacles which are cross-braced to form the crown of Christ the King, which stands out on the Liverpool skyline. Our next stop will give you the opportunity to visit and decide for yourself whether Sir Frederick Gibbard's vision of an ultra-modern cathedral works for you. like a pile of abandoned luggage. Once here in 1998 by the sculptor John Knight, and represents the personal luggage of famous for the footprints, which is Paul McCartney's guitar case. Just behind the suitcase, the large building with the stone pillars is the Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts, now known as LIPA. It is also known as the institute where George Harrison and Paul McCartney went to school. The building was due to be demolished in the mid-1980s, when it was rescued by Paul McCartney and Cathedral being the life work of Sir Giles Gilbert Scott. He was famous for his design of red telephone boxes and the Battersea Power Station. He worked on this construction right up to his death in 1960. The construction started in 1902 and was completed in 1978. We are making our way towards Liverpool's Chinatown. It's the home of the oldest Chinese community in Europe. Chinese merchants came here during Liverpool's great trading days. Being shrewd businessmen, they set up here in the city, brokering trade between Liverpool and the Far East, and this created great wealth for their communities. There's a ceremonial arch which is really coming up on our left. It's a relatively new landmark to Liverpool. Liverpool was not considered to be of any great importance. In the 18th century, trade with West Indies ran Ireland in Europe, and Liverpool began to grow, gaining the first wet dock in Britain in 1715. From then on, growth was very fast, with a population reaching 10,000 within 5 years of the opening of the dock. 1952 as the largest group of Grade 1 listed buildings in the country. The dock was designed by Yorkshireman Jesse Harley as the world's first fireproof warehousing system, with the world's first hydraulic cranes powered from dock water, pumped from what is now the Pump House Inn. The docks were opened in 1846 by Prince Albert, who said in his speech, "I have heard of the greatness of Liverpool, but the reality far surpasses the expectation." Here you will find the Maritime Museum, which has 4 floors of fascinating galleries that explore the city's maritime legacy. You will also find which houses the Metropolitan. Opening here in 1998. You will also be able to visit the Liverpool Museum and be able to find out everything you ever wanted to know about the Fab Four. It's a nostalgic trip through those heavy days of Beatlemania. We have a stop here for those of you wishing to visit the Albert Dock and its many wonderful attractions. House Dock is on our left now, the site of the old 17th century salt refinery. Salt was shipped from here to Newfoundland, where it was used to salt cod, which was then sent to feed slaves in some plantations in the West Indies. The discovery of rock salt locally as early as 1670 meant that fortunes were made from the salt trade. Indeed, there is a theory that Liverpool would not have been the successful slave port it became. This area is known as Man Island. Just ahead and to your left is the recently opened new Museum of Liverpool Life. The museum is a bigger and better version of the former one, which closed in June 2006. The people of Liverpool always welcome visitors to our city, and we try our best to show the world what a real Scouse welcome is all about. If you're staying with us here, then there may be a change of driver or bus at this point. On behalf of our driver and staff, we'd like to thank you for choosing to travel with Liverpool City Tours, and we wish you a safe and pleasant onward journey.
So Mary, cross the Mersey, 'cause this land's the place I love, and here I'll stay, and here I'll stay, here I'll stay.
us you can see the Church of St Nicholas, which was known as the Sailors' Church. There has been a place of worship on this site for over 600 years. In 1880, a group of 28 people, mostly young girls, were killed here when the spire collapsed into the building. The city was badly damaged during the Second World War. We now have a stop for those of you wishing to visit the western approaches. Originally the strategic headquarters of the Battle of the Atlantic campaign. It is now an underground museum with a maze of rooms where you can experience the atmosphere of those war-torn days. Please check with our driver for seasonal opening times. The entrance to the museum is in Rumford Street, which is over to the right. This is Tyburn Street, one of the oldest streets in the city. You'll notice examples of the great architecture which has made Liverpool famous worldwide. There are more listed buildings in Liverpool than any other city in the country outside London, some 1,500 in total, covering many periods and styles. On our left is a beautiful building called Mercury Court. It is highly decorative and very distinctive in its design. Mercury Court occupies the site of the former Exchange Street station, the Liverpool terminus of the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway. The station opened in 1850, providing the city with rail links to Northern England and Scotland. The Exchange Hotel, whose neoclassical facade was retained in the construction of Mercury Court, was built in 1886. The station closed in April 1977, following the transfer of train services to the newly opened City Centre Underground Railway system. Work commenced on the construction of Mercury Court in December 1983, with the first tenants arriving in the autumn of '86. The building was officially opened by Her Royal Highness Princess Margaret on the 7th of November 1988. Its ground floor was originally intended as an exchange, where deals were done for the many invaried cargoes which entered and exited the port of Liverpool, which of course included human cargo. The slave trade was a great source of wealth to the Liverpool merchants.
It's all really nice.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. They are.
Oops. No. Back away with it, probably. Oh yeah, look.
If you look directly ahead, you will be able to see the Queen Elizabeth II Law Courts, which stand on the site of Liverpool Castle, which was established in 1235. The Victorian monument, which was built in 1901, stands in front of the courts and is a magnificent memorial. We are now heading for an area which will be of particular interest to those of you old enough to remember the 1960s. No, me neither. This is known as the Cavern Quarter, which is the very heart and soul of the Mersey beat. As we turn left, if you look over to your right, the building with the brown columns has been converted into a Beatles Hard Day's Night hotel. Just past the hotel, you will manage a glimpse of the narrow street. This is Matthew Street, home of the Cavern Club, where the Beatles made 292 appearances. The original Cavern Club is sadly no more, and was in fact across the street from the new Cavern, which opened in 1984. You will notice a statue of the Beatles and an excellent statue of John Lennon, which offers a fantastic photo opportunity. There are also a variety of shops and bars dealing with Beatle memorabilia. If you
Jack Wheels.
Look to your left and you will see the entrance to the Queensway Tunnel. It's the original Mersey tunnel connecting Liverpool to Birkenhead and was opened in 1934. It was an incredible feat of engineering. It's 2.5 miles long and it took 1,700 men 9 years to build. It was the longest underwater tunnel in the world when it was built, and it cost nearly £8 million.
Amazing.
It's lots of money. Yeah.
We are now entering William Brown Street, where we will be surrounded by one of the finest collections of civic buildings anywhere in the country. The first building on the left is the Liverpool Museum and Library. With its dinosaur gallery, planetarium and natural history centre, you can take a journey through time and explore the universe in a couple of hours. The library was reopened in the spring of 2013 following a 3-year redevelopment programme, with over £50 million worth of improvement being made to the Grade 2 listed building. It has a collection of over 14,000 books and manuscripts and contains the wonderful Picton Reading Room, which is the drum-like building to your left. Known as the Picton Gasometer to the Liverpool people when it was built, it was the first building in Liverpool to have electric lighting. The furthest building is the Walker Art Gallery, with statues of Michelangelo and Raphael on either side of the entrance.